I'm going to come out with a wild guess and say that you and your spouse or your partner feel differently about money. Maybe there's some little differences, or maybe there's some big ones, or maybe your spouse or partner, they're just not even interested. It's, hey, I want you to take care of this. It sounds like you enjoy that. And I imagine if you're watching this video, you are the person that enjoys this. Not because you're in love with tax strategy or investments. It's, hey, maybe you have an interest in it, but you also just want to do as good as you possibly can. You don't want to leave anything on the table. But the reason I bring that up is I imagine that your spouse might not love this as much as you do. And you want to make sure, one, they're taken care of in case anything happens, or number two, that they just have an understanding of the work that you're doing, the work you're putting in to make sure that you guys have a better life. So I'm going to talk about what you can do today to put yourself in the best position to help them understand how to view money in light of the differences that you have. If you don't know already, my name is Taublieb. I am a financial planner, and I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast. I'm the vice president of Root Financial Partners, and I help people retire early, and I love doing it. I'm going to start with an example because I'm an example guy. If you guys don't know already, I think it's the best way to learn. And I'm a big YouTuber myself in the sense of I love watching YouTube videos. So when you guys comment, hey, Ari, this was helpful or this wasn't, I take that to heart and I watch other videos going, hey, I wish they, summarized that more quickly, or I wish they went into more depth on that. So I'm always trying to make these videos better for you all. So my example is that Dave Ramsey says you should save 15% of your income. And the reason I like it and the reason I don't like it might surprise you. I like it because he is saying commit to something. Make yourself disciplined in the sense of I want you to invest on a recurring basis. Now, whether you like Dave Ramsey or hate Dave Ramsey, I don't really care. And that's not really the point of this video. The point is, I'm promised to get to how this impacts your partner and your spouse, is when we think about how to set ourselves up well financially, there are rules that can be very good and there are rules that are not so good. This is a rule I like, but I also don't like it. And here's why. If you were to save 15% of your income and you make $100,000, great, you want to save $15,000 every single year. Wonderful, right? Well, what if, God forbid, anything happens to you in your early 30s or your early 40s or even your 50s and you've been saving and saving and saving and now all of a sudden you don't get to reap the rewards? Well, you got to be disciplined for many, many years and maybe those funds go to your spouse or to your partner, but I don't imagine that's what you'd prefer. You'd rather that they're alive and happy and you're doing fun things with them. Why do I bring it up at all? It's just a starting spot for a conversation. That 15%, it's a discipline thing. And so when you talk to your spouse about, hey, why are we saving this amount and how do we do this? It's really tough for them to get on board and go, oh, it just feels like, I wish we were doing more fun things today, or, money just feels tight and I know we're saving and doing the right things, but I don't really feel it today. Well, there's no way for them to feel it if they don't understand the purpose. So why do I bring up this example at all? You could save and invest and be absolutely fine financially, but maybe you could have done more fun things along the way. Maybe there's a balance in the sense of you love saving and investing because you understand compound interest and you absolutely want to maximize that. Maybe your spouse goes, hey, I get it, or your partner, I get it, but not for me. I want to do more fun things today, and yeah, I want to put something away, but I also want to live today. And you want to live today too. I'm not saying you don't. I'm going to guess here that you go up to your partner or your spouse and you go, hey, this is how much we need to save to be on track for our goals. And they go, great, but there's just a disconnect. What I would do is invite them to brainstorm not about money. That's where people get lost with their partners or their spouses. They talk about the money first, not the goals first. Flip it around. Instead, go, what would be really successful at you or 65? What does success mean to you? And they might go, well, I just want to be able to do what I want. You go, great, I want you to be able to do what you want to. So we're going to talk about money in a second, but let's brainstorm more. What's something you do today, spouse or partner, that you don't want to have to do in retirement? And they go, well, I hate waking up Monday morning for this type of job, or, I want to be able to sleep in, or I love wine, and I want to, drink more wine. Whatever it is, get them really excited about the goal, and then go, great, how much do you think that might cost? And they're like, I don't know, inflation and taxes, and aren't you the money guy or money girl or gal? And you might go, yes, but you know what, let's just brainstorm more. Keep them really excited. And then you can say, you know what, based off everything you just shared with me, if prices stay the same way, or, we want to leave a little wiggle room, we're going to need $8,000 a month after taxes adjusted for inflation once we've retired. And by the way, partner, spouse, if we retire early, because we've been watching Ari's videos and we know how to do that, well, we're going to need our income to last more than 30 years. We're going to need it to last 40 or 50 years. So we really got to have a good plan here. And they're like, okay, I'm on board. Like, I want to be able to drink my wine and I want to go fishing and I'm on board. How do we do this together? And now it's a team thing. It's less of a, hey, you're telling them how much they need to save, and maybe they have a 401k or a 403b and they're adding money to it, but it just, they don't feel the benefit. That's really tough for 20 years to save and invest, even if it's the right thing to do, because you don't feel like why you're doing it. And so this is where you come in and you go, great, now that I've, taken the helm, they really need you because you're doing the financial work. You can say to them, hey, partner, hey, spouse, this is how much it's going to cost us, $8,000 a month. I've adjusted for taxes and inflation. That means we need to save X number of dollars today. We're going to max out your 401k. So every time you max it out, every time it gets deducted from your paycheck, that's going to your future wine. Just think about that. Make it a little more exciting for them as opposed to just we're dollar cost averaging in. Yes, you're doing the right things. How can we make this more exciting for people who don't love talking about money? Another tip, discuss what you both love spending money on. People don't look at it this way. From my clients, they go, Ari, my partner, my spouse, we're always talking about we need to cut costs here and cut costs there. And yeah, that's important, but here's what you should do first. What do you absolutely love spending money on? For example, I love health and fitness. I just do. So I spend a lot of money going to hot yoga. I spend a lot of money on soccer. I spend a lot of money at the gym, more money than a lot of people would say, you know what, that is a comfortable amount. I'm, going to justify spending on health and fitness. Now, I love doing that. I pay extra for physical therapy and I want to be in the best shape of my life, and I love soccer and being active, and I love that. So I spend a ton of money on it. But my definition of a ton of money is different than other people. So I'm spending a ton of money in my mind and I love doing it. I feel no guilt. I've saved and invested for that reason. But I don't love going out. And a lot of people love partying. And a lot of people love drinking wine and beer and alcohol. And if that's you, wonderful. Maybe you love spending money on that and you shouldn't feel guilt if you have that right plan. But I don't. So I religiously spend a lot of money on things I love doing, and I cut back a lot on the things I don't. Now, that's how I look at it. My partner views differently. She likes to spend a little bit of money on everything, and there's nothing she's super passionate about. But she does love shopping, so she gives herself a little budget, and she doesn't want to feel guilty, so she does the sinking funds approach, which if you haven't already seen my other videos on that, it's where you allocate a certain amount of money every single month to these funds that you go, you know what, I'm going to, $300 a month is going to go to my shopping fund. And so at the end of the year, you have $3,600. Now you're spending it throughout the year, but that's what you're allowed to spend based off of your budget. So get really excited, talk to your partner and spouse about what they love spending money on first, then say, hey, where can we cut costs? I'm going to guess that you love financial planning and investments and tax strategy, and you want to know when you can retire. You don't want to leave anything on your table. Now, once again, I said this at the beginning, but your spouse or partner might not feel the same way. Don't go show them a financial plan and report and say, hey, are you on board with this? Because they already trust you. The reality is they have trusted you with their life, either from being, romantically involved, from the idea of, hey, you are life partners and truly you are doing this together. You're a team, you're a partnership, and they already trust you. So by you going to them, they're going to just do it to be nice, but the reality is it's not going to be a huge, massive takeaway for them, and it's not going to make the mindset shift that you want to happen. I'm going to guess you want them excited about retirement, and the best way to do it is by dreaming about the things that don't involve the money. The money is how we get there, but money is not anything any of us really care about. We want a successful life. I'm going to guess you want more time, you want the ability to walk away from a job if you don't like it, and you want to be able to spend more in retirement and not have to second guess or feel any hesitancy of what's that wedding going to do, to my future retirement plan, or I need to buy a new car, or whatever it is. I want you really confident in retirement, and if you want to retire early, you're going to need that money for more years. So how do you communicate with the spouse and make sure that they're not anxious? Because what if they were anxious for 35 years, from call it 50 to 85, about, hey, are we going to be okay? And now you're at 85 and you are okay, but they just stressed for 35 years unnecessarily because they didn't know how to approach money, or they didn't know the mindset shift, and it might not be their fault at all. In fact, it's not. We all grow up with different biases and heuristics around money, and maybe you grew up as a saver or as a spender, and the reality is probably a saver, which is why you're in a position or you're watching these videos to retire early, but that's the reality. And so help your spouse or partner if they view money differently by talking about the fun, high-level things that excite them, and then bring in the money. Once again, it's always more fun to retire with friends. I kindly ask you, like this video if it was helpful, and number 2, share it with someone that you want to retire with. Maybe it is your partner and spouse and you watch this together. Maybe it's your neighbor who you already know, they want to be able to speak with their partner a certain way. What can make this more helpful? That's what I'm always trying to think of. Lastly, if you're looking for services personally to make sure that you have the right investment strategy, tax strategy, estate plan, all set up, that comprehensive, holistic financial planning approach, reach out to me. I'd be happy to have that conversation. I help people retire early and create that custom strategy. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't know, I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and this is what I love doing. I help people create a custom strategy to retire early. You can always reach out to me or a member of our team here at Root, and we would be happy to walk you through our planning process to show you how we can help you get more life out of your money.